Warm welcome to the session, Andy.
Thank you for having me. But I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, for sure. So I know you've been in marketing for the longest time, and we actually go way back with the first summit I ever did, the branding summit. And now, obviously, full circle, we're all at the rage here with AI. So I'm interested to hear like how you got into this world, and now you're really deep into it. You have a lot of presentations you're doing around the topic. So can you tell me a little bit about that, and then have some really, really good stuff for us?
Yeah, I sometimes joke it's I've done 24 years in digital and 2.4 years in AI. I wasn't really early to AI when as soon as it appeared, I realized I have to study hard and figure this out. But I go way back. I'm the co-founder of a digital agency. We focus on web development, mostly for B2B lead gen websites, and began in 2001 and knew right then I needed to figure out SEO and knew right then I needed to figure out analytics. So I've done almost 25 years now of search and analytics. I'm kind of a performance marketer in many ways. But this is, I'm a content guy and forever have been publishing. I've written 600 plus articles on all kinds of, content strategy, conversion optimization, visitor psychology, analytics, search, and then lots of videos. I wrote a book. I've just been very active for many years. We built this. We're an $8.5 million, 53-person company, and I've still to this day never bought an ad. So this has been a totally inbound, organic, content-based approach.
That's pretty amazing. And now with, I mean, how has things changed now with AI for you? Like, because you said search, right? I mean, it's evolving
Sure.
with the introduction of AI. And I mean, in the beginning it was not as much, but now it's pretty obvious. Like Google is a big player. There's a lot of things happening. So what have you seen in terms of like visibility and stuff like that? And then you can dive into your presentation.
Yeah, it's an all-powerful topic. Most of my conversations involve AI in some way. We had to adapt our content strategy because I couldn't avoid this topic. I was either going to have a larger audience or a smaller audience, and I had to decide right then, okay, I'm going to go all in. So it's been really hundreds of hours of research and experimentation and testing, and that's kept me relevant and kept our content updated. I am constantly pushed to find new methods and practical ways. Separate from that, there's a conversation about how AI is used inside teams and how it affects workflows and what are the best methods and how do we use it internally. That's a big topic. Separately from that topic, there's yet another topic, which is about changes in search, Google's AI overviews, and the big change in click-through rates and the decline in organic traffic to websites. That, for me, is a much older story. I think for lots of brands, organic traffic peaked in maybe 2019. And that's not just AI. Google has been filling search results pages with SERP features, featured snippets, and people also ask boxes and videos and knowledge panels. So I adapted my content strategy a long time ago, and we have actually, partly through LinkedIn, just 10 times the visibility I ever had before. So there's more to life than search. I'm a full funnel marketer. I'm not just an SEO. But AI is so much fun, and it's a fantastic teaching tool, and I'm excited for our session today because I think there's some very interesting things I can share.
Yeah, absolutely. Why don't we dive in, and then as we go, I'll have some questions. We can see where this goes, but you have some really good stuff prepared, so I don't want to waste any time for people here. So
Perfect. Yeah, no, I love this. This is great. I'm going to start with the big picture, and I'm going to share a way to think about where we all are. Some of this stuff you'll have seen. I have some visuals for this. So here's a quick point of view. Obviously, marketing is affected. According to McKinsey, 75% of the impact of AI comes from four different categories, and sales and marketing is at the top. So we can't avoid this. You can't go backwards. Math teachers were not successful in protesting against calculators. That's an actual newspaper clipping from the 1960s. And the impact is real because this is Harvard. An individual with AI can outperform a team of people without AI. So it would be both a missed opportunity to not embrace it, and it's also not something that we can go back from anyway. So here we all are. I'm going to give you 7 steps. Anyone that's used Google lately, of course, is an AI user. A lot of us used ChatGPT right when it came out, and it wrote a poem for us. That's lovely, but that's not professional use. The next step, and one of the very first things that happens, is that you learn to prompt. And in fact, the big unlock for many people is they've learned that AI can write better prompts than they can. So I sort of don't write prompts anymore. I ask AI to help me with the prompt, and I have a little conversation. And or I give it a draft and it iterates. But then you realize like that these things need to be tested. And if there's a problem, you go back and you keep working on it. The same way software engineers have to debug their software. Anyone using prompts has to go validate that the prompt was in fact effective. If it works, magic. You have a reusable prompt that you can share with anyone on your team. The outputs are good, and you can level up the people around you. Next, you realize that these reusable prompts can have lots of different inputs, and you can improve them by changing the input and uploading things with it. Style guides, reports, brand guidelines, personas, screenshots, and the outputs become much better. So the people who are really good at this are very good at giving AI more information so that it's more targeted. We can talk more about that. Next, you realize that every process you have in your business, in fact, uses a sequence of tasks, and AI may be useful for various steps in that sequence, and that it becomes part of a workflow. We become process developers. And then another big unlock, now that you might have gotten here, when you realize, why am I copying and pasting all these prompts? I can put these together into a custom GPT or a little automation, and then I keep that. I could share that with other people on my team. The outputs are better. And some of the coolest things I've ever done, 24 years, have been these automations I build that do magical things, like they're very intelligent, but you have to work hard at them, and you build them, and you, of course, have to test them. Beyond where I am now, there's the agent builder, agentic AI that goes and does things outside of the AI. It can send reports or scrape pages or do other things. Agents have the ability to go outside just the sort of ChatGPT interface, and they connect through APIs and other things. Those are the future of how this work will all get done. And the sort of prophecy is that we will all be agentic AI bosses managing different agents that do different jobs, checking the output, improving the inputs, putting it all together. And then sort of on the emotional, personal development side, I think that the people who feel disrupted and are the most concerned are the ones who are just earlier in this spectrum, the so-called transformational journey we're all on. And the farther you go over there, right, like I'm over here, it changes from disruption to opportunity. So that's my first idea, is that this is something that really our relationship to this technology is a function of how much time we've invested and how we've leveled up our skills. And in that process, you've adapted to the point where this is just not a threat at all. This is going to be great. Like, I can do way more than I could before. The outputs are better. The quality's better. I'm more efficient with my time. I'm doing more meaningful work. So that's a big idea. In that, I want to say also one thing here, just that that process is also, that progression is also true of each specific task. And the smartest people that do this take their standard operating procedures, hopefully you have some and they're documented, or your best practices, and then you create prompts. It's hard to make a prompt until you know what the quality looks like. And then you can turn those prompts into automations. Hard to make an automation until you have the prompts that have been tested and vetted. And then finally, those will be evolved into agents that can work almost independently, right? They like Monday morning, they go get the data and make the report and send you the email. So really in this moment, we all just sort of ask ourselves, what part of my job, who else on my team, which of my contractors or freelancers or helpers need which tools, which prompts, which automations, which agents. As I step back, that's where that's my big perspective about the technology. And then if you'd like, we can jump right in. I have all kinds of methods. I can share the specific prompts. I can show you outputs and what works. But that's where we start.
Specifics. I mean, I love this as well. There's so much you can do, and even on the simplistic way, there's now integrations with when you use Claude or ChatGPT. like they have ChatGPT has the connector, so you can connect it to your Notion or Google Drive or even the Gmail and stuff like that. And with Claude, I think it's even more advanced, and you can do a little bit more with Notion. I use Notion for all my organization with the content and stuff like that. Then it can actually create these databases that would take a long time, even for speaker outreach and stuff. I can tell Claude to basically research the speakers for this AI Creator Summit, and then I can get a list of them, and they actually organize them and categorize inside of my Notion database. Is it perfect? No, it's maybe some speakers I wouldn't have maybe considered, but also I get ideas that I wouldn't have even thought of myself. So it saves me a lot of time, at least as a starting point. And there's a lot of stuff you can do with the content and stuff like that. And that's just a connector. I mean, that's just very simple to do. You don't have to do much. You just integrate it and it's there. I mean, that was one of my favorite features when they released that, with the kind of MCP connectors that are like native to Claude and ChatGPT.
You're on that path, see? And that tone of your voice shows that excitement because you discovered you're in control, right? Like it's useful to you. You found something that helps you. That's exactly the point. So perfect example. Thank you.
Yeah, saves a lot of time. And I think it saves time, and it's also nice to just get, I mean, you get also better things. You can even integrate Stripe and analyze your sales data and stuff like that. Yeah, you can upload stuff, but now you can integrate it if you trust LLM enough. So you actually want to do that. I tested it. It was fantastic because you got like this in a few minutes. Claude created this dashboard with my sales and stuff like that. It was beautiful. It was way better than anything else I've seen. More beautiful than what probably would have looked like in Stripe, with all these different things there. So yeah, there's a lot you can do.
Yeah, I saw that recently. That there's when you make a custom GPT, there's a button that says Actions, and you just copy and paste code that it wrote for you in a different browser, and then that API connection is right there, and that's. I think there's some native ones to it. You can also build your own, obviously. I mean, with ChatGPT, there's not as many. With Claude, I find it's more. I mean, there's like PayPal, Stripe, there's even Spotify, so you can do some actions with telling them to suggest us music or something for you. I mean, there's a lot you can do. I love that. It's something that you said and that everyone says, and I get it, but I want to have this is another point of view on the why. Everyone wants to save time, and there's this big conversation about saving time with AI. But I want to suggest to you another angle on this, and then we can get into some methods. I don't really use AI with the goal of efficiency. This is a classic marketing report. You probably noticed this. The top performing anything gets way better results than the second best, right? Like the top ranking search pages get the most traffic. The top social posts go viral. A tiny percentage of influencers get most of the engagement. The tiny percent of pages on any website get most of the traffic. So my goal is always quality and performance, and I'm trying to use AI to improve the things that I'm making much more than I'm trying to find a way to save 10 minutes. Because in my experience, the world is not waiting for another medium quality piece of content. It's almost not worth creating things, that they're just so. My obsession with quality also works well with AI. Even though in the short run, I'm not more efficient. I'm spending a lot of time building these tools that audit prompts and validating the things I make. But that focus and that initial goal is different than a lot of people are saying. It's like, how can I, trim some time out of my day? I'd rather spend my time however long it takes to create things that work much harder for me. I'm a big believer that the 10x content produces 100x results. So I'll do anything possible to get myself even a little bit farther over on this. So that idea of AI for quality and AI for performance isn't everyone's same starting point. It's mine, but I'll show you some examples of how I use this. This is what a lot of people are doing. It's like, I don't have time today. I need an article. My publishing calendar says I've got to make something today. Give me some best practices. It's a lazy prompt and the content's boring. And no one should write that anymore anyway, because your prospect or your reader can just go to AI and get that same answer. If AI can do it, stop doing it. Don't make things that AI can make. It's like not worth making. There's no reason to do it. Why write something that can be generated by anyone in 10 seconds by typing 6 words. And that's and I sort of joke, AI might as well stand for average information. People that do this, it literally is the average of the internet. It summarizes the internet. It's beautiful as a summarization tool, but it's never going to create something that's highly differentiated. Tastes like water. This was Jay Baer's quote. He says, the problem is not that AI is doing what marketers can do, but the problem is that marketers keep doing what can be done by an AI. So when you think about that, you begin to shift your focus and, well, as a creator, I'm going to try to make things that other people aren't making something that's totally unique, something that's wildly different. So I'll give you a quick example. And this is absolutely the kind of thing that is very specific and unique to AI. I discovered long ago that strong opinion is highly differentiated content. You could call it thought leadership. In some cases, it's real thought leadership. I'm on YouTube, and I mostly don't engage on YouTube, but I post videos there that support content that I create. And I made this video years ago. It's like, things to remove from your website. PDFs don't belong on websites. That's like an alternate version. It's like a print simulation. Why would you do that? Everything should be a web page so it's scannable and has analytics. Blog posts shouldn't have dates. It just makes your content look older, faster. If it's an evergreen article, there's no reason to put a date on that. Press releases don't belong on websites. I take this stand on these things, and I made a video about it, and I put the video on YouTube. And because I'm coming out strong for and against something, it triggered a lot of conversation, and I got literally hundreds of comments on that. And what I did was, this is like Seth Godin who said this. I actually met him at a conference once, marketing legend. And he said that's the point. Thought leadership always creates tension. It's about making assertions. You have to be willing to be wrong. You can be certain some people will disagree. Now, if you think about that for a minute, he's creating a high standard for the definition of thought leadership. If you made something that no one can disagree with, and I've done tons of that, most of my content is utility content, how to set up analytics, how to check, site search reports, stuff that's just how to. It's not a point of view. It's how to do something. You can't disagree with it. But when I made this thing, the comments on YouTube were crazy. Like, I get called sleazy and untrustworthy, all caps hate. Like, people, this guy said, great work, dude. You told people to make low information, low value blogs. This person won't even watch the video because she saw the comments were so negative. Exclamation points. Some people liked it. I got some happy emojis from this person. This guy thinks I look like some actor. That guy's criticizing my hair. What happened? It triggered conversation. None of that bothers me at all. But the conversation, the topic triggered the conversation triggered the algorithm, and YouTube decided to show that to like 300, I think now it's 340,000 people have seen that video. Why? It's because I published a point of view. I made something that people can disagree with. Can AI help? Not really. It has no point of view. See, that's something that AI can't make. But you'll like this. AI can help you find those provocative topics. So here's a very simple prompt anyone can use. What are some relatively mundane, almost trivial topics that job title has strong opinions about? So I put this in for office managers. Office managers care a lot about thermostat battles. They care a lot about reply all abuse and exclamation points. They care about office supply hoarding and how to load a dishwasher. So these are not controversial topics. This is not social justice or geopolitics. This is not controversy. This is simply using AI to find the things that your reader or viewer cares about. You could do this for anything. Large exotic animal veterinarians. If you and I had an agency, or we worked at a brand, and we were targeting zookeepers, what do they care about? Well, they care about glove thickness, dart guns versus blowpipes. What is the best needle gauge for rhinos versus zebras? AI can immediately help you find the topics that are instantly going to get engagement. The worst smelling medications. AI has never smelled animal medication, but our audience has, and they're going to be very engaged. how to set up your truck, what are the most annoying animal species. So that's an example of where I'm using AI to do something that a human can't easily do. There's tons of really interesting use cases here. You can ask AI, what are the most important topics that nobody's writing about? Humans can't do that. You can't read everything in your vertical and then see what's missing. Gap analysis is very difficult for humans to do. Brains don't work that way. You can ask AI, what are the most important topics that my audience doesn't know about? And it will tell you. It's sort of it's an exciting time to do these things because for the content strategist, it's going to uncover some topics and then you decide, where do you want to take a stand? What do you feel strongly about? What do you think is right and wrong? Where do you want to draw a line and plant a flag? So this is a method that maybe not everyone's using. It's not about speed or efficiency. It's about creating like 10x content that everyone, that people remember. So that's an example of one of the methods that I've been using.
Yeah, I like this. That's exactly what Ryan Levesque also spoke about in one session. He was talking about also the source of truth, basically having one piece of content that you are creating, and that's like your ideas, basically. That's kind of your main piece. And then you can kind of amplify yourself a little bit with AI to spread that in some ways. But he was very big and firm on that you should actually create one piece of content yourself. If you just go to AI and create everything, like it's going to be kind of what shows up in Google when you type in like a how-to now, because that's kind of what comes up, these AI generated results. And I think I saw now in my even Google Ultra account, whatever it's called, I think they are coming out with some other modes, basically an AI mode or whatever.
Sure.
Google, they're always experimenting with this. And I think at the end of the day, they want to have, a better experience for the user. If they can just give the results really quickly, I mean, I guess is a better experience for them. So we have to do as creators and entrepreneurs, we have to do something better. We have to create better content with, as you said, thought-provoking thoughts and different things, the different point of view, because AI can't really do that. I mean, they can help you come up with the ideas, as you said, but they can't really do something that is going to get these kind of comments you got on your video. I mean, that's going to be pretty difficult, I guess.
Yeah, I don't really use AI to write. Because what it writes is automatically undifferentiated. That's the average information. But I use AI to uncover the not yet covered topics. So of the two formats for content that have always been highly differentiated, and thought leadership is one of them. The other, though, is another example of like a 10x effort that gets you 100x results. It's the original research piece. And it's rare. Like most people don't do this. I'll give you a quick example. This works extremely well for creators. I'm going to share. So I have a piece. This just went live today. So, I'll show it to you first on my blog. This is the blogging statistics survey. So for 12 years, I've reached out to marketers. It was always 1,000. This year it was just 800. And I can report now and tell you exactly what content strategies work, what percentage of content marketers are getting results, what are creators publishing, how long, what is the average length of an article, how long does content take to create. I have, and this is filled with influencers. You and I both appreciate the value of collaboration. And so when you get down in here, like this is literally saying, this is how marketers are using AI. This is how, this is the correlation between those use cases and strong performance. 21% of our respondents reported strong results. So all the formats, this is the primary source. Now, I told you I'm an SEO, so I'll show you just briefly here. If I put that URL into a tool like Moz, it'll show you 3,700 websites have linked to this specific URL. It's like news. And if I go to and I put this on LinkedIn today, this is maybe, I don't know, half of what you'll see by the time it's done. Someone just shared this. Here is actually that's a share directly of the article. Let's look at one of the at the LinkedIn version of it. So this will show you just after, I don't know, 6 hours of this being live. Here's the LinkedIn version. Hundreds of engagements, 70 plus comments. And when you look at the impact of producing original research, this has only been live for a few hours. 34,000 people have viewed this because it's real, like it's different. It's more, it exceeds their expectation. It's original research. If I were doing content audits for anyone, and I mostly don't do that, but I'd ask this question: is your website the primary source for any new information? If that's true, then you are a categorically different brand. You're a different kind of company, right? So here, and now, can AI help with that? The answer again is yes. I'll share with you a prompt for discovering those topics. This is the original research topic finder prompt. Let's say you and I are working at a brand. We're targeting contractors, mechanical contractors. Your goal is to create original research that attracts press mentions and backlinks from journalists. You want to uncover frequently asserted, things people say a lot, but rarely supported, no good research, among contractors in the building trades. What are gaps in existing research where statistics would add value? I have all the trends. So it's very special, and AI, with the right prompt, AI can help you uncover the topics that you could then, it's hard work, right? You'd have to go do surveys or gather data somewhere or find topics, find gaps, but it's catnip for journalists. Editors love it. It supports, that's going to be in people's slides at presentations and in the introductions to people's books. Like, it's just more memorable. It's different. So while everyone else just goes makes whatever they're going to make, another how-to piece, probably I should write a prompt that audits a given article to say, what's the likelihood that this already exists? If it already exists, maybe don't publish that. Maybe make something that's truly unique, that, the internet's not finished yet. Find a gap and fill it, or share yourself, tell a story, or add an anecdote, or, share a strong perspective or a counter narrative. What counter narratives? What do you believe that most people think is unlikely? Or what questions are people in your industry afraid to answer? Take those on, you will feel the difference in the impact.
So basically going to, let's say, using AI to come up with these kind of topics, but then obviously you have to create it yourself. You have to feed it your information. I think what is interesting though, you can obviously speak to AI. I use some tools for that, or you can transcribe it, you can then upload it, whatever, and then you can get something organized based on your thoughts.
Sure.
But at least it's your information, or like what we are doing now, we're recording a video that can turn into many pieces of content, and that's typically unique because you're not gonna find it exactly what we are talking about today inside of the LLMs, because it hasn't been really done before, not at least this unique thing. You might have shared some ideas before, but it's still a unique piece of content.
Yeah, recording is automatically differentiated because it's your face, like it's your voice. It just connects with people on a more personal level. AI can't make what we're making now at all. Yeah. It's not possible. So this, I think, so in the future, the trends will be stronger differentiation for thought leadership and original research, greater value for collaboration, video, influencer marketing, and a change in the value of our websites. If you want to chat about that, the websites end up becoming AI training data. The UX and the importance of the sort of visual internet and browser experiences may decline a bit as people start to trust AI and stay and talk to an agent and do their research within the tool, which is just super interesting. The question becomes, how do we train AI to recommend our brands? Which is
I wanted to get into that.
Fascinating topic.
That is fascinating. So why don't we talk a little bit about that? Because I think at least with the creator economy, I mean, it's been around for a long time, but the word creator economy is not sold. Maybe around COVID, it started to boom a little bit, or, with the pandemic. And then
sure.
I think with that, blogging is not as popular, obviously, because a lot of people are creating content for sort of the social media, YouTube, Instagram, and these platforms. So the website's been a little bit forgotten, but you have been doing it for a long time. But I think when you're creating a lot of content, I think it's still good to put it on a website because it's kind of organized, and you can then even feed it to, as you said, to the LLMs, to you can upload your
Sure.
knowledge base or whatever that is. It's just easier when you have all the information there and your ideas and your thoughts, even if you might not get as much traffic as it used to, or maybe it takes time. You need backlinks and all this kind of stuff to even rank. In Google, it's very competitive now with these big brands showing up for a lot of keywords, So, yeah.
It is. I think I remember this because I've been around so long. I remember when apps became super popular all at once, and everybody wanted an app because the smartphones and mobile computing was a thing, and people began to ask, like, "Do you still need a website?" And people quickly realized, like, an app can't replace a website, and apps have, it's a totally different user experience. People have to discover it first and then download it. In this era now, I saw a post yesterday. It's like, the homepage is dead. Ask AI about any brand, blah, blah, blah. It'll tell you a bunch of stuff. Then ask AI what its sources were for learning about that brand. And it takes only minutes before you realize that your website is your best chance to add any information you want to directly into AI's training data. AI has perspectives on all of us. Getting recommended by AI is a bit like word of mouth marketing. It's like word of an artificial mouth. It's like you want to be top of mind, but top of an artificial mind. How do you get AI to recommend your brand unless you have trained it on all the ways in which you are different, better, smarter, more experienced, unique, you solve this specific problem, you work with these certain people? I don't think that websites at all become less important. If AI becomes one of the main ways that people access the internet and get recommendations, then the website is far more important. It's as important as it ever was, because that is, how else are you going to put all of these answers on the web? Like, just your LinkedIn page is limited. Everything you put in every other channel is finite. You don't have the space.
YouTube is obviously a search engine, but I think they're not pulling as much from that, right? It's mostly like the written word, and that's websites. Yeah.
Ask AI about any brand and then ask it where it got that information. It's crawling these corporate company websites and learning from them. That's not to say, and if I'm still sharing, I'll address kind of the SEO disruption. Can you still see my screen?
Bring up the screen again, yeah. That's fine.
I'm exhausted by this because everyone's talking about AI, the reduction in traffic because of AI, when in fact this is a much older story. I took a screenshot of the Google search results page in 2014. I collect screenshots of Google search results pages. I have hundreds of them from the same key phrase year after year after year, and you can see the changes to search results pages. Now, this is an example of a key phrase, buckets, and Google gave you 10 blue links and a variety of things. Today, if you search for buckets, it gives you buckets and buckets and buckets. Google evolved from like a library to a shopping mall. And the number one ranked page for this key phrase, hey, we ranked number one. That's victory, right? Let's go celebrate. It's 8,000 pixels from the top of the viewport. This listing here. So I really am confused that people are still targeting key phrases where there's 0% chance of click-through rates, targeting reporting on rankings, when in fact the ranking has no indication of how prominent you are in those. I bet my privacy policy and my footer gets more clicks than that. Like, it's just crazy now. And this had nothing to do with AI. AI is not in this search result, right? So there's just it's just such a reaction without a clear understanding. This company might say, hey, we rank for buckets. Look, number one for buckets. Doesn't matter. No hope. Give it up. That's an absurd thing to report on or to hope for. So, when you look at these things side by side, here's a key phrase. There's the fold, 2016 to 2025. Compare the difference, right? This is a big difference. The number one position in 2016 versus 2025. The number 5 position. And so AI is only the latest part of this story. That's only one of the SERP features on this page. So It's real and it's an important topic. And but two things. One is if you're only targeting information intent queries, you are badly disrupted. It used to be articles, target info intent queries, service pages, target commercial intent queries. But as soon as Google bought that crappy dictionary and started putting definitions at the top, all definition related key phrases became zero click. But those other phrases still do have visit website intent. Until 2018, Google added the people also ask box. Simple answers became zero click key phrases. But lots of other phrases still do have visit website intent. Now with AI overviews, even longer answers, people are getting their answer, getting the information on the search results page. But look, service pages, home pages, key pages, case studies, comparisons, the people who are making real decisions, especially like a B2B buyer, someone's researching something, you don't make a big decision just from an AI overview or AI mode or chat GPT. You want to click through and look, right? So I think that there's still tons of traffic that has visit website intent. That's just my term. No one calls it that, but it's a good way to think about that. Zero click, that's total BS, not a thing. Go look at any analytics account. There's tons of traffic flowing through. And really, if you separate in your analytics traffic that lands on an article or content program versus traffic that lands on a service page or a commercial, like a money page, that's where the drop is. My traffic peaked in 2019, but my leads keep flowing in. I generate leads every day. How's that possible? No ads. It's organic. Why? Well, I have a brand play and a LinkedIn newsletter, and I'm visible in many places. But also, we still rank and get clicks and traffic and leads from the most valuable key phrases. Those are the key phrases that have, of course, the strongest conversion rate anyway. I'm not just an SEO. I'm a full funnel marketer. It's the problem with SEOs. They're all cheese and no mousetrap. You need to pay close attention to which phrases and which pages have which conversion rates, which phrases and which pages are impacted by SERP features, search engine results page features. And that will be the key to AI anyway, because it's not as if these things are, AI is probably, isn't just about becoming visible. AI is making recommendations. People don't go to AI and say, give me a list of options. They say, give me the best option. So you should think about SEOs seem like they're perfectly positioned for this because they're performance marketers who are good at tools and understand algorithms, but they're also very poorly suited for the era of AI optimization because they may not be including in their content the things that win the sales conversation. If you don't understand conversion, I don't think you're going to perform well in AI because you don't know the positioning of the brand, you don't know the evidence and proof points the audience cares about, you don't know how to handle objections that the audience might have. These key conversion things, answer the audience's top questions, supply supportive evidence to support your claims. These are things that a full funnel marketer would naturally do, but that an SEO is very likely going to miss. So what is that difference? Here's my latest thinking about this. And this is sort of, I'm going to call it prompt reverse engineering. Let me go back. If this is how, so the average prompt is probably like 23 words long. This is SEMrush, much longer than the average query. So if the average prompt is longer than the average query by 5x, what do those prompts include? What is our audience? What's your future prospect doing when they prompt? Well, you tell it who you are, you tell it what the task that is, what the context, the story happening in your life, what you want back specifically. Okay, so a prompt might look like this. I'm a blank, I'm looking for blank, this is what my problem is, give me X, role, task, content, output. Okay, makes sense. That's the elements of prompt engineering. So AI optimization, I believe, is likely, and this is a hypothesis and it's early yet, think about it this way, prompt reverse engineering. That becomes the copy that you put on your pages. The job title. I'm reverse engineering the prompt and making myself more likely to get recommended, not just visible. This is also funny. SEOs are all talking about AI visibility. you're missing the point. It's not about visibility. It's about getting AI to recommend you. How do you do that? You have to inject data into AI's training sources. How do you do that? You have to write copy that includes the things that people are asking AI for. So prompt reverse engineering would be to include in your pages, key pages, probably some of the top pages, right? Like the about page. About pages normally don't rank. It's not really a key phrase opportunity, but 100% AI is training on that one. Ask AI what it knows about your brand. It's talking about those homepage and the about page, which, you know, they're surface. So job titles, industry category, the specific details they offer, comparisons, case studies, proof points as text. Conversion optimizers will add logos and awards, right? They put visuals. AI doesn't see those. It's crawling the page like Googlebot. So do you have text, explanatory text about your proof points and your impact? So if that's true, then you have to step back, and we can make a prompt that will sort of audit the AI in that way, right? These are how well does the page do those jobs, right? Focus on the website and how clearly does the business describe what it does? Okay, SEOs have got that. But does it list the job titles of the buyers? Prompt reverse engineering, right? Prompts begin with roles. Maybe not. I don't think that SEOs do that by default. I haven't. The services, the use case, the product categories, of course, you've got that. But what are the impact? What is the outcome? What is the change in the life of the visitor after you've provided the service? And are those trust signals all crawlable and ingestible by AI because they're easy, because the formatting isn't just imagery? So this is an example of like my version of an AI audit prompt. You can see it here on your screen. Give me a rating scale. Again, AI for performance, not just efficiency. I want it to give me ideas. I want it to rate the extent to which I did this. And then give me gaps, describe how content gaps could reduce AI visibility and make the brand less likely to appear. So you can see, right, it comes back and says, well, when I learn just from your website, which is the primary source for brand information, company data, how well did we address those specific criteria for AI optimization? Not great. It gave me a lot of 3s and 2s and some 1s. So I think it's becoming clear now how marketers can increase the likelihood of getting AI to recommend their brand. It goes much farther beyond that. AI will summarize the issues. But you can also just sort of ask AI like to make a comparison table of companies in your category. And then you could see, where does it think we're weak? Where does it think they're strong? And then go head on after that with content, comparison tables, proof points, case studies, data points, impact, outcomes, who gets what value, who is it for, who's it not for? That kind of, it's a hybrid. It ends up becoming likely a hybrid of SEO and conversion copywriting. And that's going to be a big shift for SEOs and a very small shift for full funnel marketers.
This is very interesting because if you're a newer creator, how would you go about some of this? Like, I mean, if you don't have all this, is there something you can do to be everywhere is a little bit hard in the beginning. Now with AI, it helps a little bit because you can, produce maybe more content, but it's also about, as you have said, it's about the quality and how you show up basically. So what would you do if you don't have all this experience? You have like so many years, you've been around in marketing for so long, so it's easier when you have case studies, but still, as you mentioned, you create these reports and stuff. There's still, could anyone do something like this for their industry?
Well, everyone has perspectives and opinions. So it could be the first day and you still have a point of view. Anyone can create original research. There's nothing special about my approach there. It was a lot of one-to-one, no automation, one-to-one outreach and making friends and asking nicely and literally 100 hours of work. Most people won't do it. That makes the rest of us highly differentiated. So that original research project was something that, 12 years ago, I didn't have. It's not that I have original research because I have a personal brand. It's that I have a personal brand because I created original research. There was no one asked me to do it. No one delegated. It wasn't assigned to me. I just chose to do that, right? We are entrepreneurs. if I was starting now, and in fact, I did this in the beginning of my content career, I started writing for everybody. 2/3 of my content for several years was written for other websites. That is going to expand your digital footprint and train AI about your brand. That's going to grow links to your website and improve your domain authority. That's going to improve your content because those editors are going to push you to work harder. That's going to grow your personal network because you're going to, like me and you, right? This is a great example. You're going to meet podcasters, event producers, editors, bloggers, journalists, influencers, subject matter experts, and that will supercharge your career. So that tour, that world tour, make a list of all the places where your audience might hang out. And once again, there is an excellent AI use case for this. I'll show you. Here's a method that will work for almost anybody, I think, if you want to quickly find. It's a little bit hard because in the beginning maybe you don't know. But here's an AI method for finding the specific places where your audience spends time. For example, and this prompt comes from my friend Lisa. Lisa Adams is a CMO, AI thought leader, awesome person to follow on LinkedIn. So she gave this prompt to me. I have friends, by the way, where to learn AI, I knew I needed to move quickly. So rather than just do everything by research and solo, I ended up doing regular calls. I do monthly calls with other people who are experimenting, and we trade prompts and trade notes. I have a big call tomorrow. Someone gave me this awesome automation, and I'm going to trade and give him some custom audit prompts that he can use to replace an expensive piece of software he's using. Anyway, Lisa gave me this, and it is a tool for finding where people hang out. So we want to identify where this audience learns, engages, interacts with each other. So make a table where each of these locations is a separate cell. So I'll do this here for, again, mechanical contractors. This is part of a deck for some conference I was at. And it will actually tell me this is where the audience, these are the relevant trade associations. This is where we might want to sponsor or pitch conferences. This is where you can go listen and be active in those online communities and see what topics are trending. These are the publications where we want to network with the editors, pitch and collaborate. So it actually just makes a giant list of all the top places. Just like you said, right, about influencer identification. This is like community identification. So this will show us, so some of these, so then yes, get busy, get active, get out there, write for everybody. Digital PR is likely going to be one of those categories that trends, I think, because the brand with the biggest reach and biggest digital footprint should win.
You mentioned for lead generation as well in our free chats. That's also quite interesting. So what do you do there? I mean, is that mostly the content, or is there anything else you do for the lead generation with AI and analyzing things?
Thank you for asking, because this, I think, is my number one use case. There's nothing I've done that is more valuable. I'll share with you a version of it. I've evolved it a lot, and I have much more elaborate automations that are built that do this. But when you get to lead generation, the theory is this. The reason why people do and don't become leads is because they are there's a gap. I have never seen a web page that didn't have a big hole in the middle. There's content gaps on every page. Even a registration page for a virtual event, even the home page, the service page, the about page, and every article. The goal of the creator is to make a thing that is comprehensive and topically complete. The goal of the conversion copywriter is to answer every critical question and handle every objection. Your goal is to confirm that every one of your assertions is supported with evidence. See, most web pages are just big piles of unsupported marketing claims. So here's my method for that. And this is honestly, I think, one of the most valuable things that I can teach, and I'm happy to teach it here for you. So these are the pages that have the highest conversion rate. On this account, it's 10x. So if you're, again, that content performance curve, if you're going to focus on something today, if you have only 1 hour to make an impact today, this is the URL you should focus on, right? These ones, these key pages. There's a small number of pages on every website where the visitor decides whether or not to take an action. So here's my kind of joke slide, and I said it earlier. SEOs are narrow-minded, right? They're all cheese, no mousetrap. A full funnel marketer understands that traffic times conversion rate is demand, and they pay equal attention, right? They don't have a big blind spot. And then, as we believe, like now, AI is really a combination of both, because it's not just about visibility, it's also about recommendations. So the way to do that, probably the most efficient way to do that, is to start by teaching it about the audience. I'm sharing you with your, you're going to teach it who we target and why. Until you train it on the target audience, it's just not going to be very good. So this is a simple version of a fancy automation I built that simply will generate for you a basic persona. It's specifically for website audits. So this is not a persona that has a bunch of demographic stuff in it. In fact, it may be several job titles, because web pages have to speak to everybody. So a persona with a job title, an industry, a geography, a company size, they have certain roles, that challenges. They're looking for a company like us. They're in our category. You put your own category. I want 4 things. I want their hopes and dreams. I want their fears and concerns. I want their emotional triggers. And I want their decision criteria for selecting a company like mine. That is, if you don't know the decision criteria of your buyer, how are you going to sell them anything? It's like, there are so many gaps. So many marketers just miss this, right? Because they're channel specific, right? They're like, I'm a social media marketer, or I do analytics, I'm a tech SEO. Timeout. Why do people what wins the sales conversation? Okay. If you don't know that, you're missing something. So I'll do this for anybody. Here, I'll do it for a building engineer. This again was that mechanical contract focus, but I could do this for anything. Any of you, anyone watching, can use this for anything. And it comes back, and almost always when I show this to clients and friends, they're like, yep, pretty much it. That's not bad. You might change a few things, but this is their goals. They want to be seen as a proactive, cost-conscious leader. Here are their fears. They don't want to get stuck in a relationship with a vendor. They're worried about downtime. They're a building engineer. They don't want their tenants to be angry. They don't want a cookie-cutter system. They care about the life cycle cost, not just the upfront cost. Here's how they make decisions. They want proven experience. They want compatibility with their current stuff. They want case studies of relevant, comparable projects. Okay, now you have a synthetic member of your target audience, which is super interesting. You've got to fix it, right? It's not necessarily correct, but you can ask it anything. You can talk to it all day. What key phrases might you search for? What articles might you click on? Why wouldn't you buy this? What expected prices do you have? What timelines? Like, you can, don't expect it to be perfect, but as an audience intelligence tool, it's incredible. I think the future of marketing is actually to run simulations by making synthetic audience members or panels, and then testing everything with them before you put it into the market. I think we'll look back on the previous era of marketing and say that was really risky and inefficient and expensive to just publish things and hope people like them. Probably everything should be vetted this way. So once you have that, I recommend you keep it, name it, save it, go back to it, or just take it out of there and put it into a PDF. I've got a folder on my desktop with like 60 of these. Again, I make them with a much more detailed process in a custom GPT. But for all of my clients and friends and just people I'm trying to help. So then you can take a full page screenshot of any page. Like this one here, it's some air handling. It's like an HVAC product. It's like a building thing. And I use Snagit to take full page screenshots. It's beautiful. And then you can give that to the, there's other ways to take screenshots to give AI web pages. There's actually 4 ways to give AI web page. Some of these are good for basic review. Some of these are really good for SEO because it's got meta description and title tags. But the full page screenshot is brilliant for the conversion review because when the visitor lands, they're looking at the rendered page. So Now I can give it the screenshot. It's right there. Now I can give it the persona. It's right there. And then I can give it the a prompt to audit the page. This is an example of one. You could make your own web page audit prompt. This just uses my own standards. It's a checking for the alignment with the persona, and I wanted to give me the output in a table, like a heat map matrix, and I wanted to list the missed opportunities, and it will tell you where you bombed. What didn't you do? If that persona was accurate and that buyer cares about integration with existing systems, this page failed, right? And that will hurt your conversion rate. If that persona was accurate and this buyer cares about technical support, this page failed because it really didn't explain in detail. And so then you come back and you can show it and you can begin to address the issues. So all of these pages on all these websites mostly have not been validated using a persona prompt, a full page screenshot, and a detailed or a alignment prompt or conversion prompt and a detailed persona. It's so fun to do. There are so many opportunities. If I just go into like ChatGPT, there's like my whole my past prompts are sort of filled with these things in here. You can see these are like I'm constantly checking, using it to understand this persona generator, persona alignment. Here's one I did on a LinkedIn Live. This was this company that does like home health care, where they help people get, so there's a screenshot, a web persona. Here's the alignment. Oops. Big problems, missed opportunities, recommendations, examples of CTAs that could address that. I have other prompts that will audit pages to check the extent to which they support their claims. Here's literally a list of every unsupported claim. Count the number of unsupported claims on a page. It's terrifying once you realize what you put on the internet. Ask AI to identify all the unsupported claims and make recommendations for supporting them. It prioritizes the recommendations, ideas for persuasion copywriting and triggering cognitive biases, alignment with their emotional frustrations in their process. Most people don't want to have to research options. They have feelings about their experience they're having right then. So it's just, you can see I'm using these. It's an automation called a page auditor that runs through a series of prompts. And there are huge opportunities. This one recommends calls to action. Most people don't even know the click-through rates on their calls to action. So no, I can use AI to generate more demand. We're a B2B lead gen company. We build and optimize B2B lead gen websites, mostly for mid-market companies where the lead's worth a lot. So this is not necessarily relevant to every creator, although anything that you're launching, you could check, a book launch, a conference, the podcast drops or anything at all. Just, you're going to have more successful outcomes if you understand how that works in the brain of your audience. And the closest you can get to that is to build and reuse and improve and keep iterating on a detailed persona and then have that look at your stuff.
Yeah, it's like having a team member or a coach, basically, because you can get any information like this. I think AI is really good with the improvements. If you upload a screenshot of your landing page or even give it a link, it does a pretty good job to identify, or creating structures. Maybe you have a specific structure for your sales pages and landing pages. I mean, you can create even a GPT or a prompt to write other pages exactly the way you want. I mean, that stuff wasn't really possible in the same way before. I mean, you could create templates and stuff like that. I mean, we did that for the longest time, but now with AI, it's a lot faster. And I think it's just, also it creates better experience usually. It's not like you are just asking AI to write this page, then it doesn't do a good job. If I give Claude, like, hey, write this, a lot of people say Claude is a good writer. It might be true, like to some extent, but will it write like me or in the way I want? No, it will not. Usually can come back with pretty crap answers if you ask it to come up with subject lines or just without context, basically. You have to give AI kind of what you're looking for a little bit, and then it can do a good job. If you give it a structure or maybe give it a post from LinkedIn that went viral, or some kind of structure you like, or some of your content, then it will do a really good job to actually do that on an ongoing basis for you if you create a GPT or have a prompt that you can feed the AI. So
I guess my thesis is that more important than giving it something that performed well or giving it your best practices, teach it everything about the user, and it will give you feedback from their point of view. Because what matters in the end, it's not if I liked it or not. It doesn't matter if I think my writing is good or bad. It doesn't matter if I think my homepage is beautiful or clever. The game is what happens in the brain of your visitor or buyer or potential subscriber when their eyes see these pixels. That's it, man. That's 100% of the game. It doesn't really matter what you like. All that matters is that it triggers a response, maybe an emotion, maybe it addresses a concern for them. And if that's true, then all your best practices are just hypotheses, right? What really matters is to make something that connects with that person in that moment. There's a true story in the life of every visitor to every web page. Does this align with that? I don't care what you want. I don't care what I want. I care what they want. That's how I'm going to win.
Yeah, 100% agree. And I mean, it's like if you have survey results and stuff like that from a launch, or maybe you have done some service to your audience, I mean, they usually use a specific type of words and stuff like that. You can obviously upload some of that. You can see kind of what their experience was, and then you can analyze some of the results. That would actually take quite a bit longer time before. Now with AI, you can do it a lot faster, and also get better insights to how you're going to use these results, because sometimes you do a survey but you don't actually use it. You know, a lot of people do these surveys, but then do you actually use the results to improve your marketing, to improve the experience for your audience and customers? I mean, that's the end of the game.
I love the AI for analysis too. I speak at a lot of analytics conferences, and one of the things I like to teach, I mean, AI plus anything. So how about AI plus GA4? So if you go to, for example, like a pages report, and you add a secondary dimension, little blue plus mark, for source medium, export, get a nice long date range, get all the data, export that, give that to AI, and it will tell you based on your visitors' behaviors, what topics work well in which channels. Because you'll have a spreadsheet that shows these are all your title tags, which are the proxy for your topics. This is all the source mediums, email, social, search. And then it will analyze all that data and tell you, give you insights into the topic channel fit, which is the key to content strategy, right? Certain topics work better in certain channels. So it's very hard for a human to do that kind of analysis, to export from GA4 all this data and see what, which things work how well in which channels. But it will do it for you. It'll make charts for you. It'll explain like engagement is slightly higher for these topics in email. It's a little lower for these topics from search. You can even give it mobile versus desktop. So no, for analysis, you feel like a sorcerer. Like you just export all this data, upload it to AI, and you can start by even saying like, what types of insights can I get from this data? And it will start with a list of hypotheses and ways in which you can work with it as a data analyst, and it's brilliant.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about the tools as well. We have talked a lot about ChatGPT, obviously, because that's one of the most commonly used ones. But I know you mentioned you use NotebookLM. Do you use anything else? Maybe you can share a little bit how you're using different AI tools and how it's helping you in your business.
Sure. Because I'm a content marketer, I'm trying to keep the tool part kind of vanilla. Because if I start using, let's say I build some amazing agent using Make or, N8N or something wild, it just becomes less applicable to the majority of the readers. So I'm deliberately using the most popular tool in my recommendations and methods, and, copy and paste is proper. Although I don't really have strong feelings about one model versus another. On the other hand, there are specific AI tools that I use personally all the time. For prompting now, I have Wispr Flow,
I love
Yeah, I can tell.
Wispr Flow. I've also tried Super Whisper. I'm trying to see which one I want to go with. But I use a lot of audio when I'm prompting the AI because you can actually speak a lot faster than you type, and I mean, it's not only about saving time; it's about giving AI context, basically more
More.
information
Yeah,
to give you a better output, basically. So that's kind of why I'm
big
using
diff.
it,
Yeah.
especially when I'm using like visual image tools and video tools. You have to give it a lot of different things.
Hmm.
Otherwise, it comes back with pretty average results. So yeah, it's
Yeah.
really good.
Do you want to do a demo? Do you think your audience has seen this? Do you want to? Maybe I can just
Yeah,
use
let's
it and
do it. I
people
mean,
can see.
it's
Okay.
always in for a demo. So let's do it.
Yeah. Let's show everybody how Wispr Flow works. So I'm in ChatGPT, and this
Let's
is
talk
how.
also about because ChatGPT has an audio thing. Some people they ask why wouldn't you just use the
Right.
audio in ChatGPT? You can speak to it, right? You can even have a
Yep.
conversation with ChatGPT. So yeah.
No problem. I'm not opposed to that at all. Use whatever works. Wispr Flow has some advantages because it's not just going to go all text to all speech to all text. You can kind of go backwards. You can add formatting. It's going to figure out what's a list and put it in bullets. You can kind of rewind or stumble over your words and it will come out okay. I'm going to make an audit prompt that will just do a basic audit of a page. This is an article I wrote about lead generation. Actually, a quite useful article. It explains why people do and don't take action on websites, a lot like we were talking about. It's a function of just clarity and persuasion in these four elements, and this is where this can go on pages. So I'm going to make a prompt for that now, but I'm not going to write the audit prompt. I'm going to ask AI to write it for me. So I could click this, but you'll notice in the output a little bit the difference of Wispr Flow and what that button would do. Here we go. I'd like for you to make a reusable prompt for auditing content. The best content tends to have some common traits. It usually has a strong opening hook. It has a visual at every scroll depth. It has multiple perspectives and contributor quotes from experts. It is highly formatted and structured. It has internal links. The content is strongly supported with evidence or data. Create for me a reusable prompt that I can use again and again. And add 3 or 4 ideas to this prompt that I didn't even mention just now. Yeah, do you see the formatting?
Yeah, it's more
Put that in there.
beautiful.
Yeah.
It's better for the AI. It's more structured, basically.
Yeah, it's better for the AI. And also if I'd wanted to go back and say, oh no, I meant something else, it will go back. Like it cleans it up before. This required no cleanup. Okay. So now this is going to make an initial audit prompt, or it's going to ask me a few extras. There's the prompt. Search intent alignment. Interesting. A one screen version. No, that prompt looks good, but just update it so that it's clear that the user will be beginning by uploading a full page screenshot, because the full page screenshot will allow you to see the visuals, and we want visuals to be part of the audit. Also, add to the prompt instructions to make the output a table format using color and a rating system to evaluate it against each criteria. Yep, see, I went back a little bit. It was fine. Okay, now it's going to update that prompt. While it's doing that, I'm going to get a full page screenshot of this. Here again, this is not an AI tool per se, but I love Snagit. I have a keystroke set. I do Command Shift
I've used
N.
Snagit a lot too. There's another one as well that I really like for Mac. It's called, I think it's Clean Shot. I think it's Clean Shot.
Yeah, there's
I
Chrome
think so.
extensions, but they only do it in Chrome. So I just highlighted that part of my page. Now I click scroll. Now I'm scrolling down this page and it's adding this to my clipboard. So I don't even have to save this to the desktop. We're about to audit this page. This is going to be a very tall screenshot. A lot of detail in here. This is explaining a ton of my best thinking about conversion optimization and lead generation. Maybe we could just stop right here. This is sufficient for a demo. Look, this is all cognitive biases. Nancy Harhut, she's a genius. Okay, I think that's enough. So I'm going to stop now. I'm going to click done. It's putting that onto my clipboard. And then this will just take a second. It's putting it all together. And then we're going to test my audit prompt. And I'm not going to trust that it's accurate to begin with. I might not love it. Remember my little framework at the beginning? I might go back and iterate on this even after we've tried it for a minute. So big screenshot, almost done. It's putting it all together. It's on my desktop. It's on my clipboard. Okay. Let's test it. Run the prompt against this screenshot. Paste. It's kind of a large-ish image. Okay. Look at how tall that is. I write very detailed articles.
Yeah.
So there's the content audit table. Opening hook, it got a 4 out of 5. Says I could have added a stat. It likes the direct headline. Visuals, I don't agree. I give myself a 5 out of 5 for that. That's a custom fancy infographic. I've got charts in here. I've got human faces. This thing, side-by-side comparisons. This is...
maybe ChatGPT didn't notice the images.
Yeah. Well, I think whether it did or not, this is the proper way to use AI. You don't really... It's not the law. It's just, this isn't the Bible. I'm just getting a point of view.
What if you gave it a link to analyze the page? Like, how would that be different?
Very interesting question. And the proper answer is, let's test it.
Yeah, let's test it.
So now I'm going to take this prompt out of here, and I'm going to do it in a different tab. And this is how I use AI. Like I often have, if I'm trying to make a good prompt, I'm testing them, I'm testing things side by side. Okay, so I just put that prompt in there, which means the screenshot is no longer on my clipboard. So I'm going to go back into Snagit, which is not loading. I think my computer is. There's too many things happening. There. Oh, force quit. Oh, I don't want to quit. I'm gonna have to restart Snagit. I think I'm running out of memory or something. Yeah, I don't think that kept that. So, and I don't know how to move that over here. So, I could make another quick screenshot, but we don't need a screenshot. We're gonna test the link.
The link.
Yeah. So I'll upload a link to a web page. Good enough. Use this to audit. Okay. So now I will literally, this is, again, prompts are like code, and like code, it needs to be debugged. So I would compare these things side by side. So we'll pan out a little bit, and it can't see it. Try again to access the page. This is a frustration. I know, you've seen it too?
Yeah. I mean, I've seen it with ChatGPT refusing to, or maybe they can't crawl the page or something. But now it did it this time.
What is that? That's the right page, though. How to increase conversion rates for your audience. I think that's correct. I don't know what this thing is here. I grabbed that from somewhere else. So opening hook, it said a 4. See, it's getting too many sources. Oh no, well that might be correct. Visuals, expert perspectives. No, see, it didn't really get it.
No, I think it makes up stuff sometimes, like this. I think the best one was with the screenshot because it was more accurate, I would say, because it could see everything.
100%.
Basically. But at times they
100%.
can't crawl a page. I mean, you can add a link, but sometimes it doesn't work properly for some reason, and you have to confirm that.
And that's that point, is that there's different ways. So the quality in, quality out. I said there's 4 ways to give AI a web page. And I also, at the very beginning, this is that deck I was showing from a minute ago, is that it's a breakthrough when you realize, see, this person here might have just been like, oh, I'm going to give AI a link because links are everything. No, they're not. Different inputs, different outputs. So it was a great example of two things. One is the different methods that you can give it something, and two is just the idea of uploads. It's a huge impact. But that was really fun, and a fun example of how prompts are better written by the AI. AI can take your idea and go farther with it. You can use a tool to quickly generate a generating prompt by just using Wispr Flow. Screenshots are very accessible, and I can grab it. Snagit was a great tool for that. But that was really fun. I'm glad that you were open to that.
I love the practical stuff. So I know you said you use NotebookLM. I'm a little bit curious how you use it. There's a lot of different use cases to it, and I actually love to play around with it and upload information and stuff. So how do you use that in your business?
Well, I can't list them all, but Christopher Penn, who's an AI leader, says this AI fundamentally does 7 things, and one of them is synthesis. And that's NotebookLM works that way for us. So imagine 3 years ago, there's a project, there's agendas for tons of meetings, there's input, there's personas, there's a conversion guide, there's keyword research, there's a content audit, there's all these files, the goals, the proposal, everything about the project. The project is 6 weeks in. Project manager is, on vacation or having a baby, and someone new comes in. How does the new person get up to speed? If all project documentation is uploaded to NotebookLM, then anybody can just go talk to this whole archive of files and find out exactly what's happening with every project. Synthesis. Give it everything. NotebookLM is actually very famous for making these kind of podcast-style conversations. You give it a thing, and then it makes a little conversation about it. But just as a way to interact with bodies of work, it is an excellent tool for agencies or service providers to just keep their stuff organized. We don't have a fancy integration with it yet. We're just dragging these things in. Probably there's even smarter ways to use it.
It's a limitation with how many sources you can upload as well. At least I think so.
I haven't seen that yet, but right now it's nice going home at night thinking if I had to, I could find out anything happening on any project as long as those teams are faithfully uploading the project docs.
You can also link your website there, and it can basically crawl your website and get most of the information from it. So that's also pretty good. So I think that's how you can start. You can just try to enter your website or even I think a YouTube link or anything, and then it can basically, you can have a conversation about it. And what's fun is you can join these kind of podcasts. I noticed they said my name wrong when I tried it. And I was like, I joined and I said, no, sorry, you pronounced my name wrong. It's not Navid, it's Navid. And it actually said, oh, sorry. It's, then they started to say it correctly eventually. I mean, that was pretty cool. So, yeah.
Oh, really? It corrected the pronunciation?
It was like they apologized for it. I was surprised. I'm
That's
testing
great.
it as I didn't expect that because I thought, this is a little fake, but it was like I was there with them in the conversation. That was insane.
Maybe you need to say your name more when that audio gets ingested.
I'm playing around with 11 Labs a lot, and even like when I train my voice, because maybe I didn't say my name like when I did the professional recording. So I didn't say, hey, my name is Navid. So they think my name is Navid for some reason. Maybe that's how it's pronounced or something.
Looks like David with an N.
I don't know. But so maybe if I said it, I can train the AI. It's the same kind of in Google in NotebookLM. So maybe I can train them to say my name correctly. I will have to try that with different notebooks if they can actually remember it. I'm not sure, but it will be interesting to see. I'm sure it gets better with time as well.
Do you use Descript?
I do use Descript quite a bit. They're getting better. They're adding a lot of AI features actually with Underword and stuff. You can do automatic edit. Yeah. I heard you're using it as well. So what's the biggest use case in your business or for your videos and stuff?
I find it to be a very good transcription tool. So in my workflow for posting on YouTube, I will I said I don't use AI to write. There's one area that I use AI to write because I don't think YouTube descriptions are worth the time. I don't think they're mostly read by humans. So I have, I'll go through this process where I export from Camtasia the audio. upload to Descript. Descript makes the transcript. The transcript goes into ChatGPT in this automation that creates a description that has these certain key elements. And then I have to manually sort of go back to Camtasia to find the timestamps if I want to add the timestamps and have them be accurate. Maybe I can train it to do that. But I think there's another very novel use case for Descript, which is, let's say I turn that audit prompt we just made into a report for a client that is explaining the gaps in this piece of content, or maybe a team member, like, hey, the content should be better in this way. That is just going to be text. But in Descript, you can have, and with one more prompt, I could have that turned into a transcript of that audit, and then upload that to Descript and choose a face and a voice and have sort of a synthetic person tell them all about their content, right? Like, imagine, we're an agency, people are hiring us to audit their stuff. And instead of just sending the report, we also send a link of this person who's like, hey, Navid and Andy trained me on your brand. I'm a synthetic member of your target audience. I care about these things. I looked at your homepage. Here's what I saw. You really need to fix this. I think that there will be, like, the executive summary for reports may become like an AI avatar. And if that works, and if it's fast enough, maybe our personas are like, invited to our Zoom calls. And during the call, you can just say, hey, here's the campaign. Hey, Rachel, do you like this one? And she'll speak for, as a proxy for our audience. I can imagine the future where really,
actually, this is very interesting. I've seen they have this feature where you can do the avatars, and I'm actually experimenting with some tools to even clone myself to some extent, because you could have your own professionally cloned voice and even your own avatar. I think this technology is going to get better and even cheaper in the future. So you can, like right now, for example, you can use tools like HeyGen to clone yourself and have a twin of yourself, basically, with digital twin, which is really nice. And you can create these AI influencers, which is kind of blowing up a lot. So you can have someone representing your brand, but they have a character consistency across the board. Like if you just choose an avatar from Descript or HeyGen that is already made, I mean, a lot of people can use the same. But what if you had, your own person that is like almost like an employee or someone working for you, and it's consistent and it shows up on, maybe they even have their own social media and they're promoting your brand. That is also pretty cool. And they can show up in Zoom meetings or whatever. I mean, you can even send yourself to Zoom meetings now I think HeyGen has some integration like that. So you can send yourself, like if you have cloned yourself and stuff like that. And obviously you have to kind of disclose. If I put myself out in an AI version, I would disclose it. I would be upfront that this is AI. Of course. It's like, hey, this is my AI twin or something like that. But either way, you can reach a lot more people if you do it the right way. I think it does a fine balance how you should approach this. I think I wouldn't want to do this with my entire brand to just have, AI content coming out. I think, but maybe I would create a separate channel for this kind of content, like some like an experimental channel, so I can test it to see how it works, to be on the cutting edge. And also it's fun to test this technology. I think I'm not opposed to it. I just think you have to do it the right way. Yeah.
I think it's another example of synthesis, and there will be the business model for some influencers and consultants will be to train AI on everything that they've ever published. And for people like us, there's lots out there. It's hundreds of hours of me talking, and there's, all those articles I mentioned. And then they'll sell a subscription where you can, and I know for a fact that people have already built twins for me. They trained it on my content. They gave it the book. It doesn't really bother me. No one's trying to sell that, but if you want, I can also share a screen and we can look at Descript and I can give you an example of that AI avatar. This is a really fun conversation. I like how we're going along and that you're open to these. So this is Descript.
Really, I mean, the audience love this, and I see in like when you're gonna talk about AI, I think it's nice that you have this conversation back and forth, but also showing the examples. I think that's really important. So I really appreciate you doing that.
So this is an example of where you take the persona and then you take the persona alignment prompt and then you turn that into a transcript, and then you upload that to Descript, and then Descript gives feedback as a member of the target audience to the brand. You can just see the words that get highlighted. But this is a look. She's telling the viewer that that my company trained her. She's giving feedback on a page, and she says the page is doing well. But when you get down here, she really starts to get critical of the page based on the feedback. She's like, "This is a good page in a lot of ways. I want to hear that." And then down here, she's like, "Here's the issue." Yeah, it's pretty funny.
Yeah, something else that I think you can do in Descript now is that you can translate or dub content. I don't know if have you tried to reach, I guess, other audiences, or maybe because of your business, you're most like, an agency doing work for clients and stuff like that. It's not relevant to reach like an international market with this. I'm not sure if you have experimented with like, dubbing into Spanish or something like that, or translating content.
I'm happy if my content reaches more people, and on the audience side, and just like being useful in the world and being a good internet citizen.
Yeah.
Great. If everybody, but I think that's going to be something that's just sort of built in. Remember like when translator tools like had to be added to websites, and now Google just sort of does the job. So I could, and I have. It's quite strange to go pick a different language and to hear, you have to choose a voice for that language in Descript, and it just sounds very much unlike
I like
me.
the dubbing of yourself. I think there's use cases for this. YouTube, obviously, they are doing this automatically for a lot of people right now. It's rolling out. One of my channels, they already have this feature. So I guess you can, like, if you are in different regions, you can basically get it in your native language, which is pretty cool. So it's obviously serves YouTube, so they get more ad revenue and stuff like that. More so it's a win-win basically. But I think for courses and your own content like that you produce, that is pretty good, because before you could never sell a course in a different language. It would be pretty difficult or more expensive because you would have to translate it. That would be very costly. And I think this technology is going to get cheaper, so someone could pretty much buy, let's say, a program or something for me, or like a virtual event like this one, to basically get the content in their language, which is pretty cool. Maybe I would even host it on a different site or a subdomain or something like that for that language, to just translate the website, and then I have all the content in Spanish or in German or whatever that would be. That is pretty cool, and I think that's gonna get cheaper and cheaper. Right now, you don't get so much limit to actually dub it so it's lip synced. You get like 30 minutes or something you don't get a lot basically. So there's not enough for like a longer form content. Maybe for social media stuff is good, but yeah, for enterprise, I think it's already there, because for them maybe it's worth to spend the money. But for like creators, I think it's gonna get cheaper, the technology, so all the creators can reach more people as well.
I want that for in real time, and that will happen eventually, where my earbuds detect a language and translate that, because I travel a lot. My major in college was Mandarin Chinese, and I spent thousands of hours learning Mandarin and traveled all over China and had a great time and could talk to anybody.
I didn't know that. That's crazy. You're fluent in Mandarin.
Years ago. It was in the 1990s. Okay. Yeah. I'm in Chicago. I don't use Chinese almost ever now.
Yeah.
But the investment of time to learn a language, I think it's more beautiful to hear yourself speak in another language. But of course, I was just in Portugal, and I don't know, 10 Portuguese words. Like, would have been nice to be able to. So yeah, real-time translation will change the world. YouTube will be the first, and they'll do it for the money, and they'll make a lot of money.
Yeah, totally. So as we wrap up the session here, is there anything we should have talked more about, or anything you would like to share before we kind of wrap this session up?
I hope that we emphasized that marketing fundamentals are more important to understanding buyer behavior, understanding triggers, emotional triggers, understanding decision criteria. That is not optional, and all the cool AI tools and tricks can never replace that. I also hope I made a strong point for the use of AI, not just for speed, but for performance, and performance through empathy, by understanding our audience better? What topics do they get excited about or feel strongly about? What answers are missing from our key pages? These are not necessarily, I'm not listening to someone teach me AI and then repeating that. I'm not finding best practices and talking about them. This is all just based on my own research. This is one marketer's best use cases in one conversation. But is there anything that we missed? I will think of them as soon as this call ends, I'm sure. But I'll say this, whatever your goal is in digital, you want the person to download a guide or buy your book or whatever your creative goals are, attend your event or subscribe to your virtual summit. Start from that experience. I think marketing should be done backwards, going upwards through the funnel. So if you maximize the percentage of people who take action by polishing that page or improving the verbs in that call to action or reducing friction from the UX in the sign-up process, then start to work on generating traffic. I think that there's huge gaps in that a lot of marketers are just focused on top of funnel metrics. They're freaked out about search. When really they don't need more traffic from search. They could get better performance just by improving the conversion rate from the visitors they do have from all traffic sources. So, and then one last point, we've kind of said it a few times, and this was in the blogger survey, which I mentioned just briefly at the beginning. Go big in at least one way. Publish the longest, deepest, most comprehensive stuff, or publish more often than anyone else. Think of John Lee Dumas and Entrepreneur on Fire and to do a daily podcast, or to make your content more visual or more supported by data. Everyone loves McKinsey or Alternative Group, or these brands that just keep putting out more reports, or just make it more direct. Take a stand. Anybody can do it. Research takes a lot of extra time. Strong perspectives takes extra guts. Maybe that's your angle. But you really have to be differentiated somehow. Again, the world is not waiting for another medium quality post. If AI can write it, don't write it. Don't do it. It's a waste of time. And then, I don't know, you probably got a lot of this as creators, but all the other pro tips, create more than you consume. Don't scroll. Delete Facebook. Delete Instagram and TikTok. Get to bed. Get up early. Exercise and write. I think it's worth mentioning just those kind of pro tips for personal performance that gets missed sometimes.
Yeah, speaking of getting up early, like when we're doing this, I'm in Southeast Asia and Vietnam right now. You're in the US. That's the time difference right now. It's like when we started, this was 4 a.m. for me. So it's like in the
Bravo,
afternoon for you,
sir.
I think. Yeah. It's
Let's all learn from Navid. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Navid
definitely getting up early.
Navid knows how to. Yeah.
But
this is the game.
I'm gonna be honest. I create the best content when I'm in the early mornings because it's so peaceful. To be honest, I do it all the time. Before I usually do my workouts quite early, but sometimes I get up earlier to just do a recording session or a writing session or something like that. It just really helps. So, but man, the session was amazing. You shared so much value, and I love the practical stuff we got into. But where can people connect more with you, Andy, and see everything you're up to?
LinkedIn is my best social network, so you can find me there. But everything that I write goes live first on orbitmedia.com/blog, the Orbit Media blog. If you search for me on YouTube, my last name is Crestodina, so it's kind of, there's only like 10 people with my last name. I'm easy to find. And if you hear this and want to connect, you can ignore the LinkedIn follow button. The blue button says follow. You can just find the connect button and then just say that you heard me here, and then we can send each other messages. Yeah,
and if you have any comments and questions, drop them in below here, and we'll get back to you as well. We covered so much ground in this session, so let me know what you're gonna take action on, and hopefully you can implement some of these tips Andy shared here throughout this session. So thanks so much, Andy, for coming on here, and I'll talk to you guys very soon. Ciao for now.